Now guys, what we have here is the Autosports Engineering twin pump hanger for the Lexus IS300, GS300, Altezza, as well as the Aristo. They all use the same application, whether you got a USDM model vehicle or you have a JDM model. We actually made a quick revision a few months ago where this is now a twin pump hanger. Now, some of you guys will say, well, why'd we go from a triple to a twin? Well, there's two reasons. Honestly, the power levels that you can attain with the pumps that are available on the market right now don't really mandate that you need 3 pumps. 2 Walbro, high pressure, high flowing, E85 compatible pumps, turbine driven, are capable of putting down 1400 wheel on ethanol. Just 2 pumps. So in all reality, a 3rd pump is definitively going to be overkill for these applications. We feel that you have better options if you're building a full-out race car than using inexpensive pump. These pumps are great for a street application, so we decided just to revise it. Now, it had nothing to do with cost. It's just a reality of what most people are using the hanger for, which about 80% of the guys were really just using it because they wanted to convert their vehicle over to a return style system. And this gives you the ability to do that. So 80% of the guys were only running 1 pump. The other 20% are the guys that wanted to run 2 pumps. Rarely we ever had anybody that wanted to run 3 pumps. Now, the second reason for the revision is that the install has actually been much more simplified. By removing the excess material that was here originally for the 3rd pump, getting everything into the basket, down in the tank, with 2 pumps as well as the factory fuel level sensor is a lot easier now for you guys. So the complexity of the install has been simplified. The pump hanger itself is compatible with all 1.5" or 39mm fuel pump bodies. So any pump that's out there, the smaller Aeromotives, the smaller AEMs, the entire Walbro line, those are all 1.5" or 39mm bodies. So any one of those will fit in here. The bracket is kind of unique. The way how I designed it, it's actually a tension fit. So when you look at it versus some of the other ones, you'll notice there are no retaining set screws anywhere on the bracket. It's got a unique shape to it, and it's actually tension. So it's self-retaining. It took us a little bit to get it dialed in, but once it's there, it fits, it secures the pump. You need no set screws, makes it really easy to get the pumps in and out. Now, all of the ports underneath are set up to accept all of the 1/8" NPT pipe thread. So these are for your fuel lines to connect to the pumps. You are supplied with a NPT plug for in instances when you're not using 2 pumps. So you would plug the secondary hole. You are also supplied with an individual fit-in for the return. Now, the venturi system on the vehicle is actually reused during installation. So the venturi is actually connected to the 5/16 fit-in. And what you will have to do is just because of the increased flow and output of all of the aftermarket pumps, you will just have to drill out the venturi using an 1/8" or a 3mm drill bit, and that will pretty much put you in line where you won't backfeed the excessive amounts of pressure into the opposite side of the tank. Now, if you run into that issue, you more than likely forgot to drill out the venturi. So make sure you don't forget that. That's #1 thing. Once you do that, the system will work with either a singular pump or dual pumps, whatever you want. I recommend that you pair the pumps. That way you have consistent flow. I wouldn't mix and match pumps. Don't use 2 different pump brands just because you're trying to reuse a pump you already have. Just sell it to somebody and buy a set of matching pumps. The hat is supplied with a high-grade 40-amp connector. We supply both connectors with all of the pins. The seals are integrated. These are one-piece lock-in. And there's one other unique thing that I'm gonna show you guys. If you don't do this, you can cause yourself a headache down the line. You'll probably notice that the connectors, only one of them has the red lock-in tab. Now, the reason for that is on the top of the hat, it's fine to engage the lock. The lock's still gonna work, the primary clip, is still gonna work without it. Now, under the hat, the reason why the other one doesn't have the locking tab is that this is inserted into a cavity. So it's kind of tight. What's gonna happen is if you put that lock in there and you engage the lock, you will never be able to get that connector back out unless you destroy it. Because you can see now, you can barely see anything. You'll never get that lock unlocked. So the unit with the red locking tab is for outside on the top of the hat. That gives you the extra security. Now, you have fitting choices for feed only. The return is standardized as a -6. So we found through testing that a 6AN for the return is more than enough for the return needs of 2 of the pumps, because you size your return lines based on the pump's actual needs. You size your feed line based on the motor's horsepower needs. So if you're running 1 pump, you can use either the 6AN or the 8AN. But if you're gonna use 2 pumps, mandatory, you should use the 8AN fuel fitting. And those are selectable during checkout. Now, everything else is reused. You pop the seal from the bottom. It has a retaining groove. So you're gonna remove the seal from your factory hanger, put in here. We have new hardware to mount it back down onto the lid of the tank. If you purchase pumps from us, you will be supplied with install kits, which are gonna be the power connectors and the appropriate filters. We recommend that you do use the appropriate filters. If your filter is too tall, it will bottom out and you will have an issue getting the unit to actually seat against the lid. So you are also provided with Oerlikon clamps. You will need the specified crimping tool for these. Some guys will replace those with the screw-on type clamps. I prefer the Oerlikons because they will not perforate any of the PTFE lines that are supplied. If you use the wrong clamps, it will eat into the hose and potentially cause a leak further on down the line. Now, beyond that, it's a straightforward install. A few revisions, but it's the same trusted, proven unit that's been made we've had this available for almost 5 years now. Just wanted to give you guys an update and a quick overview on what we have going, the new changes that we have. But outside of that, man, we appreciate the support and everything you guys do. Continue purchasing. If you have any other questions, be sure to visit autosportsengineering.com. You can follow and subscribe on all of our socials and YouTube. Thank you.